Right, Anne, we're back with you again.
Yes.
And we come from the field, we've seen them picked. I've now seen them processed.
Yes.
In bales ready to go.
Absolutely.
And it's what a lovely picture, you standing beside two of the most sought after tractors in Kent. I'm going to take a picture of that as well, 1 second. Now we're going towards the old shop now, Anne.
Yeah, this was the shop that was the chap, Mr. Marshall, would come down from the top of the hill from his shop there, bring supplies. He'd open it for about 3 days a week, and the hop pickers would come. They weren't allowed inside
Right.
to take the stuff. They would say what they want, and he would give it to them.
Okay, what was it, like milk, eggs, that
Yes,
sort of thing?
the basic essentials that
Bread?
they would eat. Yes, bread.
Would it be all home cooked on the farm, the bread, would it be?
No, I'm afraid not. But they had the milk from the farm.
Really? Because did you have dairy cattle
Yeah,
as
we
well?
had dairy cattle.
Can we have a look at it? And I can see some sort of door on it. Was that where they used to go up to?
We can't.
Ah, okay then.
But
Yeah.
that's the doors that would open up, and they would
Yeah, and now, would you pay them in like a token, and could they exchange that token, or would you is it all cash?
I wasn't around when they used that one, but I would have thought cash by then.
Yep. And would, as say, they'd get their wages every week, would they, Anne? And
They would get they'd get their book,
Yeah.
and they'd have a tally on, and at the end of the hop picking, they would get their money. If they wanted a sub, they could have it.
Oh, okay. Now, obviously, they was prone to a bit of drink, like we all are.
Yes.
And so, is there a local pub nearby, is there?
Yeah, there was a local pub just up the road, and the hop pickers would come down this lane. They would go round and up to the pub. They'd have a good drink, and because they were frightened of the dark in their days, that you could always hear them coming home singing
I've heard
away.
that because they used to tell me. I used to say, "Why did they sing?" And I thought it was just like they're drunk, they're merry.
No,
but it's nothing to do with
No,
it.
they
is
were
there?
frightened of the dark.
It was because
Yes.
no street lights.
That's right. That's right.
See, that's history again.
And then there's a big beech tree, and everybody called it the White Lady because they thought it was haunted.
No,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
See, I mean, again, once our generation goes in, them stories are lost forever, aren't they?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And this is why I'm passionate about doing things like this, because we're saving history.
Yeah, we are. We
you
are.
know? Especially people like yourself and your husband, because you're not going to sell the farm, are you?
No. No
You know?
way.
And, and my kids and my grandchildren could come out in the countryside in 10 years, 20 years' time and still see this going.
Yes, this will still be going. Yeah.
You're a champion cause.
Yep.
Now, we're approaching the opera huts now. I've done a little video of the opera huts, but now we've got the expert with me. We can chat about it in more depth. Now, because I can see behind me, these are the hop gardens that you've actually laid off this year, haven't you?
Yeah, well, this one we've grubbed out.
Oh, right.
This one we've grubbed out because the variety they didn't want anyway.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, as they want less hops, we might as well grub that out, and then we'll rest it for about 2 or 3 years, and then we'll replant.
Replant. Well, perhaps with a different variety.
Yeah, different variety.
A more vigorous variety.
Well, one that is popular. But the thing is that we find it would take us 2 years. So we
Gotcha.
plant it, and 2 years' time,
You'll reap
then
the
it would,
benefits.
yes. But maybe by then they've just said, "Oh no, we don't want that variety now."
I can imagine.
Whereas in New Zealand, they plant and they can harvest it that year.
Okay. Now tell me. Now I don't know if it's true, but I've been told they used to put the male hop in the hedgerows. Now to cross fertilisation, is it the female that develops the flowers?
Well, yes, yeah, and you'll find out in there are actually male ones out there.
Oh, actually in the garden
Yeah,
itself.
we've got some out in the garden as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's how we do it.
That's how you do it. So that's a bit of a fallacy.
Well, no, it might be right. Yes.
Yeah. Okay
Yeah.
then. Anyway, getting back, and we call this the poke, do we, Anne?
No, this is the hop bin where they used to pick them in. So the old hop pickers would come and they'd sit on the edge, and they'd just pick out very quickly the hops, not the leaves,
Just the hops itself. Now they tell me, is it the tally man that come
The
along?
tally man would come along and he'd have his bushel basket
Bushel basket.
and he would scoop it up, shake it, maybe not too much because we don't want it to compact. The hop pickers might want it to compact a bit
Yep.
more. But anyway, so then then they got their little book and we write down.
And this will be under the with putting
Yes,
the
this
blinds
will be
down
out in
the
the
field.
hop gardens. Yeah, yeah,
and pulled into that, and you'll have 2 or 3 people,
yeah.
grannies,
That's it.
mums, daughters, everyone.
Children, babies in the bin as well.
Now they tell me, I don't know how true it is, the father never got involved with it.
No, they were probably still up in London and the dockyards and.
Oh, okay, and they'd come down at the
They
weekends
come down at the weekends
and spend all the money that the wives have earned.
Yes, that's it. Well, hopefully they earned some money for the children's clothes and shoes.
And they was paid it bushels. Now there was a bushel bin, was it?
It was a bushel basket,
Yep.
willow woven.
And then that
basket.
was tipped into a sack,
Yeah, in a hot poke.
hot poke, and onto the cart,
That's it.
over to the old-fashioned randles, dried off.
That's it.
And then compact into a
Hot pocket.
pocket. Now I was talking to Noah about this, and he was telling me about the names on the hot pockets. Now have you got any of them hot pockets with the names on from your farm?
I have got them from my grandfather, my father, and from here, and also my mother's father as well. I like to
Oh.
keep all these.
You've got to
things.
keep them. You've got
Yeah.
to keep them. It's your family's history.
But it's a shame now that they only want us to do it in bales.
Yeah, I see that, and I suppose that's progress.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, progress. Now, are these ones that the family have made up? These hopper huts, are they?
Each one family would be in this door to the next door. That would be one whole family living in that quarters.
Really?
So every door is a different family.
And obviously, and what about bedding and that sort of thing?
They would have their old, some old mattresses filled up with whatever, straw
Really?
or whatever.
And is a cookhouse here? Is there a cookhouse? They used
There
to
is
have
a cookhouse, but not here. It's the other end of the farm.
Oh, so
No, there would have been one here.
Oh, there would have been one here.
Yeah,
I
there
was
would
going
have
to
been
say these
one
poor
here.
souls ain't got.
No,
some-
we had loads. We had loads of these hopper huts. We've only got these ones left. There was some on the concrete there. We've had probably about 400 people
Oh, really?
living here.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Now, right, we go freehand now then, and we go freehand now. Now, and when I was walking round by your house, I seen is that an old tar melting?
Oh, the old tar tank.
Because that was they used to tar the
Yeah,
poles with, wasn't it?
we used to build the hot poles.
Yep.
Would come from our woods.
Oh, from your own woods.
Yeah, because the hot poles are all made of chestnut, which the Romans planted. So we would crop them,
Yep.
and then we would dip them in tar in those tar tanks.
Yep.
But now with all the regulations, years ago this happened. We weren't able to do that. We're not allowed to use
No,
tar and
really?
tar them. Now all the new hot poles that we have to come from Belgium.
Now that's crazy.
It is.
To me, they talk about air miles and transport miles and burning of diesel on trucks and
Yeah.
shipping and.
Yeah.
And we've got plenty of wood on your land, I can
Oh,
see.
we've got 70 acres of woodland, and most of it is chestnut.
And you can't use it.
No.
Well, I don't know what to say in front of camera, but I know what I'd say off camera.
Yes.
Yeah. So as I say, how many hot huts you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I can see something on there as well. What have you got? Something villas, is that?
Yes. It's.
Looks like Baron Villas, is it? Ooh.
Birch. Birch.
Birch Villas.
Yep, Birch
Now,
Villas.
would you have named that, or would the
Oh, the hop pickers would have done that.
it must some see
And
some
we've got the quarters that we've used for the students, and for about 25 years, it's always called the Ponderosa.
Ponderosa. Now, I mean, if we take back now, we can't hear traffic now, and we're out in the middle of a hop garden. It could be 100 years ago, couldn't it, with these old tin places?
Yeah.
We had the Spitfire
You
going
had the
over
Spitfire,
earlier.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's a history. Is it?
Yes, and we had a plane go down in the middle of that hop garden just behind you.
Really?
Yeah.
And going back to what I said about the Spitfire going over, and I mean, it could be back in 1940s, couldn't it?
Yes,
With a
yes.
Spitfire going over a hop garden in Kent,
Yeah.
you know?
And then there were lots of fights going overhead here as well.
Really? You're
And-
not old enough for that, Anne,
No,
are you?
I don't remember that one, I must admit. But my husband, Frank, before we got married, he went and put a log on the fire in their lounge, put the fire guard across, went out, and when he came back, and his parents came back, there was a little cartridge or bomb inside which had exploded,
No.
shrapnel everywhere in the lounge, and the fire guard across the lounge onto the sofa.
Oh my God.
So it just shows you that, yeah. And what it had done, it had lodged into,
One of the cracks in the wood.
yes, in the wood.
Oh, fantastic. Now, your son, Ian,
Yes.
he was telling me about you used to have an old Randalls where your hop picking sheds are now, but unfortunately they burned down.
Yes, they did. That was, I think in the year 2000.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that was terrible.
What caused the fire?
What caused the fire was the hops were very nearly dry,
Yeah.
and because there's an open flame, some of the dried petals caught light
Yeah.
and then went straight up to the floor, which then ignited.
Which was all hard timber and timber.
Oh, it's beautiful old house.
I can imagine, you know, there's not many of them about,
No.
and there's even
No.
less now. But
Yes.
And again, I really like to thank you on camera and
No.
say thanks ever so much for your sharing your history with
Pleasure.
many people.
All right.
Thanks for your time.
Yep.
Cheerio.
Bye.